Oh my God, girl, I can't get the bit quick enough tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome on in. Mega love shout out to all of Team Happy. Welcome, Tamika Davis. I'm busy right now. Go ahead, sit down. You just finished eating. Go relax and watch TV. Thank you for joining me this evening. I saw moderator Joy. Welcome. Mega love shout out. Tamika Davis. Welcome, Queen.
Hey, Tamika.
Judith, Team Happy. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. We have Sierra on the panel tonight, guys.
What's for dinner, everyone?
What's on your dinner menu, guys?
I'm still eating lunch.
I have some interesting topics coming up. You guys want to make sure that you are always tuned in. I am just doing it at random because we're doing Veda. So you can catch me doing live anytime this month. Hopefully I'll have enough energy to keep it going moving forward. But for now, I'm locking in for Veda. Being as though today is what, the 14th? 15th? Where we at? I can't even remember. That's a
The
shame.
15th. We got how many days?
15th. Oh my gosh.
We got
We're halfway
16 days
through.
left.
What do we have? 16 left? Is it
Oh,
31
yeah.
this month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Halfway through. Oh my gosh. It seemed like it took us forever to get here. Tonight's topic: how would you deal with your best friend taking your husband?
Tamika, that
No
bologna
laughing. You
sandwich
have
sound
bologna
good.
sandwiches. Absolutely. Listen, let me tell you something, Tamika. That's some good eating.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely won't laugh. Don't know if I shared that with y'all, but the other day when I went to the supermarket, I was done. And I was heading for the checkout line. I went all the way out of the line to go back over to the deli to get me some bologna cut. I don't think it's funny at all. Only I didn't get mine's cut like slices for a sandwich because I like to fry bologna and eat it. I'm a southern girl. I eat it with like grits and eggs, fried bologna, so good. I'll eat it like with baked beans and rice, whatever. Fried bologna to me is like eating a steak. So yeah, I got a real thick piece cut. I go to the deli and tell them, cut me a piece like this, all in one piece. And they be like, you're going to fry that bologna. I say, yes, ma'am, I am. So no, ain't nothing funny. Listen, when I can't get to the store to get the thick cut, ain't nothing like, I would take that bologna. It comes in a pack and it got like the red strip around the edges. Oh, baby, I'll fry that. Fried bologna is my twist. Welcome, Kiki. Thank you for coming in, sweetheart. And Judith from Team Happy. Welcome. Mega love shout out. Y'all saw what the topic is tonight. Let's get into it, ladies. Let's get into that. How would you deal with losing your spouse to your best friend?
Welcome in Life with Brandy. She says she guess she'll be attending 2 funerals that week.
I'm turning it down. 2 funerals that week? Oh my God. Brandy, I love your spirit. Listen, girl, what can I do to get on your team? You and I be here, Brandy. We from here. Listen, it happens. It happens a lot. Is that really how you would handle it though? I know we laugh and we say that, but do you really think that you would lose rationale and take that route?
I feel like I would pull up on her and him.
What about it do you think would bring out that rage? Is it the betrayal from her or from him or from both?
Probably him, because it's like the women.
Look like she froze. Hold on. Sarah Soares, welcome, Queen Sierra. You froze, so we didn't hear anything you said. So I'll ask you again. KR, welcome in, Queen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sarah said, always miss these live chats. Happy to be here. And I'm so happy to have you here. Turn that down. You guys gonna get me copyrighted. The question is, I know you probably saw coming in, how would you deal with losing your spouse to your best friend? I think Sierra's joining from another stream. 1 second. Hello?
Okay. I think that as a man, you know better than, to do all that stuff. But women know better too. But I can't fault her as much as I can fault him. If you knew that this was my best friend, you knew that this was my man, it shouldn't be none of that. But I'm going to pull up on both of y'all because both of y'all were wrong. But I necessarily wouldn't pull up and want to attack her, fight her, this or that. Just more along the lines of probably like checking, like, wait a minute, you knew. But now that I know, y'all can have each other. So I might be attending a funeral, 1 or 2, but somebody gonna get pulled up on and checked.
Okay, so for me, the guy holds more of the responsibility because he was the one in the relationship with me. He was the one that was supposed to put me first. You're obligated to me. You were in that relationship with me. So I hold him way more accountable. However, you being my best friend, you're dirty. You're dirty. Moving forward, forgiveness is not an option. Let me go to the chats. Brandy said
That's true.
Betrayal on both ends, Brandy. Right. Tamika. She was never my friend, and I wouldn't fight over no man. She can have him because he was never mine. Exactly. What I'm not going to do is get out there fist fighting. Him or her. Because, women tend to put their hands on the man, blocking the door. You ain't going nowhere. You got to go. You staying here is not an option.
Facts.
Irma, welcome. Mega love shout out. Right, Tamika. It's not worth it. Brandy. Hold on. I miss Brandy's. Let's see. I'm at peace. I'll block them both and continue my healing journey. That's right. They'll be the ones taking the loss. Exactly. That's what I mean. I'm not going out in those streets acting a fool and fighting. It's not worth it. People show you who they are, and you really need to believe them. Normally, when something like that happens, you have to look back on other times that things occurred when you was around the individual. So say your best friend, and you have to look at the way she handled things in the past, and if you necessarily agreed with it or not, she was kind of showing you her character then. Regardless if you had to, as her friend, talk her out of situations or whatever, when you listen to how she was initially handling it, she was showing you her character. When people reveal to you who they are, you really, really should listen. Oh, that's a heavy topic. Was your best friend really ever a true friend and your spouse? Yeah, it was just wrong all the way around. It was wrong on both parties' part. Absolutely. Hazley from Team Happy, mega love shout out. Thank you for coming in. They're equally have to be they have to equally be held accountable in my eyes. And there's no moving forward with the friendship with her, nor the relationship with him. That's where it stops right there. No, ma'am. And no, sir. Bye bye, baby. Exactly. Like, what is it that he can say to you that will assure you that A, he would never cheat again, and B, he would never see your friend anymore? Or that he even is worthy of being allowed to continue being in your life? What can he say to you after that? Because obviously he's admitting that he did it. So what can he say that would make you get past that? Because, ladies, I'm telling you, it's going to haunt you forever. You can say to him, I forgive you, and we can work on it. You can make him wine you and dine you and all that. That's still not going to make up for the fact that he did it. And when you lay down and it wakes you up out of your sleep, or you just driving and it just pops in your head, or you just doing anything, it's going to haunt you. There's no way you can continue laying down with your enemy knowingly. You can't do it. You can't do it. And what are you really holding on to? Just to say that you kept him, he stayed with you? That's not a prize.
Not at all. It's not. Don't nobody. It's not even a competition. What's the need to hold on to him? What's the need to try to fix anything with her? So, deuces, keep it moving. Wish you the best of luck. You and her can have each other. I don't know what else you want me to say, because nothing's gonna change my mind.
Okay, Wanda, welcome, Queen. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate having you here. Brandy says, I say the friend is more at fault. I've known you longer. We have more memories together. You know how I feel about this man, and then you go pursue him? Nah, I wish y'all the best. Absolutely. I cannot move forward with either relationship, the friendship, nor the relationship with this man. Wanda, the title of tonight's chat is How Would You Deal with Losing Your Spouse to Your Best Friend? I was sharing with them that there's no coming back from that. We cannot salvage the relationship, and definitely not the friendship. So I wish them the best of luck, and they can move on either together or apart. 9 times out of 10 is not going to last with them either, because of the betrayal, that they caused you. So it's not going to work. It never really do. Sometimes it will for quite some time, but it won't last. You know what they say, how you get them is how you lose them. I believe that. Michelle from Team Happy, mega love shout out. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then Brandy said, and there would also be a period of grieving, because no matter how angry I would be, you're hurt, right? You would grieve both relationships, because that's a double impact to take at once. You will lose your best friend whom you have been talking to all day, every day, possibly, or at least as many times a day, or as often as you possibly could. And then you're losing your whole partner, your confidant. There are 2 key elements in, your support system that you're losing. So that is a big blow to take, to lose those 2 parties into each other, because you're gonna miss the relationship with her. You're gonna miss the relationship with him, And then you're gonna now you gotta your mind have to entertain the fact that the two of them are somewhere together. Like that is just so hurtful all the way around. That's enough to drive people crazy. People end up in psych because of stuff like this. Everybody is not strong enough to handle something like that. I am proud that I'm hearing everybody in my community say that they would move on and they wouldn't endure that. Because there's absolutely a lot of people that would stay in it. Some women take their vows and say, until death do us part. So you have to endure that? Like, I have a friend, she's been married to her husband for, like, let's just say all together now, because they're still married. Maybe 20 years, right? But the last 7-8 years they've been apart. And so I often ask her, like, do y'all still like mess around? And she'd be like, no. And I'm like, so y'all don't sleep together ever? Like, you don't never go to his place, he'll never come to your place, y'all just got this financial arrangement? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, so what are y'all holding on to? She was like, ain't nobody getting those benefits. I earned that. So she's gonna stand in that marriage so that in the event that anything happened, because he is older than her, that she's gonna get all the benefits. Different people look at things differently. Some people take those vows and they take it to the extreme, or they have those men, those narcissists in your head reminding you, you're my wife, you're supposed to honor these vows, and knowing that they're doing wrong, but they pound that in your head because they want to get what they can from you. Let me go into the chats.
Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth going to jail? Is it worth having a charge on your background, on yourself? If you got a good career like a teacher, doctor, nurse, or one of these other careers or professions that are going to do a criminal background check on you, is it worth not having a job? It's like you have to ask yourself, is it worth it all the way around the border?
The sad but honest answer to that question is, when you're in the moment, you're not considering these things. You're not even thinking about the fact that you have children or family that really need you. You're not thinking about that. You're in the moment and you have this blackout that goes on. And so you lose all rationale. That's how they came up with that show Snapped. It really is. A lot of things are not premeditated. A lot of it actually happens in the moment, and people really snap. And so it's very unfortunate. So that's why I say to people, don't play around with people's heart and people's feelings. You never know what's going to happen when you see the flip side to somebody. Wanda said deuces to both. Absolutely. I believe that also. Fenocos, welcome. Team Happy, Mega Love shout out. Michelle, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Mega Love shout out. Angela's Canvas Delight, welcome, Queen. You're driving to work and listening? Absolutely. Thank you for chiming in. I tell you, use me as talk radio, honey. Use me, because talk radio, when I was traveling to and from work, when I worked the twilight shift, was over here where I am, D.L. Hughley. He would come on about 3 o'clock, and by 5 he was off. So we didn't get it this late. So yeah, use me as your form of talk radio. Brandy, till death do us part. Nah, buddy, you about to catch this fade and I'm gonna collect this insurance policy. Listen, you basically talking how I said my girlfriend is when I asked her why is she still in that marriage if they have absolutely no contact. It's just a financial arrangement. Welcome, Precious. Thank you for coming in, Queen. You see this title? How would you deal with losing your spouse to your best friend? Brandy. It's not worth it. But in that moment, I see red. Exactly. That's that blackout. That's that snap I talked about. Nothing else is taken into consideration except payback. And a lot of times, people will go sleep with his best friend, or just like hand pick. That's when women become very calculated. They hand pick the individual that they want to use to hurt him back. They'll even go so far as sleeping with a brother, a uncle, anybody that they think will. Because you got to remember, when you was married to this individual, that's who kept, that pillow talk. You know all the secrets. You know how he feel about a lot of people, because you know him on a different level than anybody. So quite naturally, he shared with you some stories, and you probably had in your back of his mind, like, he jealous of that man. So you would know exactly who to go after to get back at him. Listen, again, when people tell you who they are, you got to listen to it. That means in that way too. Like if somebody telling you indirectly that they're jealous of somebody, you hold on to that. I know me better than anybody. So if I'm talking to my partner and I'm telling, like when you meet somebody new and you're getting to know them and they asking you these little questions and answering, and you asking them questions, hold on to that information. Yup, Angela said, yup, snapped. Jihan, welcome. I would stay legally married for the benefits, but baby, this cookie jar is permanently closed. That's exactly what my girlfriend is doing. She has not slept with him. Like I said, they have been married about 20 years and probably not been together for the past 8. However, they're still together, they're still married on paper. But she said no, nobody else is getting those benefits. So the cookie jar definitely will be closed to him. And you will also start therapy. You definitely, now that's very important, because a lot of people think they can just get up from that and move on. It's not always that easy. Sometimes you need some professional help. If not right away and you think you can get on with life, things come back and haunt you at the most opportune times. And no matter when it comes back, obviously it's coming back because it's something that you can't deal with on your own, or just can't handle, or it still bothers you to your core. It can disrupt your everyday life. Who is this Tampa's wife? What? That's what you would do, Tampa's wife? You would super glue his wang to his stomach while fully erect. OMG. Wow. Welcome in, Tampa's wife. Let us know how you really feel. Yeah, it's very hurtful and is unimaginable, you know. People have to be very, very careful toying around with people's emotions. It's not cool. I actually had this happen to me. Oh my God. You say LOL. Girl, I'm glad you got LOL now. But I was young as heck. Okay. So it didn't matter. But touch my baby father, kids, dad. Be ready to get your ass knocked out the free. Okay? Him and her. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Because you can't play around with people like that. Don't play with people's families. Don't play with people, like I said, emotions and stuff. It's not cool. It's too hard to come back from some of that stuff. And then it affects you mentally It's a lot of people walking around on anxiety meds, depression meds as a result of taking such a tough blow like that. So, listen, don't come up in my face about a relationship if you're not serious. When you're young, you do all that stuff, but when you get to a certain age, I think it's very important to have these conversations with people up front and let them know what you are expecting and what you will and will not put up with. Because it can be a very dangerous thing. Tamika, I'm married on papers too. Okay? It happens. I'm telling you. You're not going to let those benefits go. And I get it. You know what you went through in the past. You know what you endured and you know what you put up with. So, would you be married to him all these years and then finally divorce him and then something, he got with somebody else and married right away, like a gunshot marriage or whatever like that, shotgun marriage, I'm sorry. And then they reap all the benefits, like, girl, you'll want to go inside the coffin, snatch him up and beat him up. Ain't nobody taking all that from me. No, hun, that is what what? Wait. That is what you did do. Who? Tampa? Tampa said, oh my God, Tampa, you knocked me off my element. I see Angela now with that what in the laughing. Oh my God, I see what's going on. I was missing the chats. Tampa, what? Oh, I can't wait to see. You have 4 kids with him, Tamika? Well, Tamika, listen. Stand on your stoop. Don't let nobody knock you off your stoop, baby. You earned that. Absolutely. Now I see why you single. Absolutely. Judith Daniels, welcome in, sweetie. Mega love shout out. She's team happy. Judith, we got some. Wait a minute, Tampa talking now, Judith. Judith, read Tampa's. Came home from work one day and he was with my best friend in my bed. Oh, well, Tampa, you should have. They didn't see you? I glued it to his tummy and dared him to cheat on me again. Wait a minute, Tampa. See, you had me to the end. So you stayed with him. Because you dared him to cheat on you again. You stayed with him. Tampa, you want to come up on the panel? Tampa, my link is... Let me see it. Tampa, my link is... Nope. Tampa, if you want to come up on my panel, there goes the link. Tap that. Judith said I'm on it. Judith, you already know you can use that link, baby. She needs to listen. I gotta hear what Tampa talk about. I can't be waiting for this slow feed in this chat. Okay, so Tampa said no, she didn't. But I promise if he thinks about... Wait a minute. Nope. But I promise if he thinks about cheating today, he thinks about me first. I'm still not clear on if you stayed with him. I think you're saying nope in the beginning, but I don't know. I'm getting some facts that let me know that he's somewhere around lurking. Come on, Tampa. Come on up. This is too hot for TV right here. Tampa, your situation should have been on that show, Cheaters. Monette, Team Happy, Mega Love shout out, welcome in. Thank you for coming. Judith, you know what we talking about. How would you deal with losing your spouse to your best friend? I ain't seen my girl say nothing lately. I don't know if she dipped out. Angela, welcome. Hey fam, here for the live in this topic. Listen, Angela, stop it, Tyjon. TJ, separate from him. We getting into it over here, Angela. I already can imagine Left him immediately. Have not heard from him in 30 years. Okay. So yeah, you left that everlasting impression embedded in here. Don't even do it. Okay, I got you. I got you. Woo, what was that lady's name in the news, y'all? And what was that in the? Go ahead, don't play with me like that. In the 90s, was that Lorena Bobbitt? Come on, Judith. I think it was Lorena Bobbitt. Let that marinate.
Hey, Judith.
Hello, everyone, and yes, it was Lorena Bobbitt, my mentor. She the best that ever did it. No spray. She the best that ever did it. She said, "Come, all right. Well, this how you want to do it? Okay. Well, let's see if you could do it if I leave it with me."
I could imagine that Angela, I already know that you and I are here from past live streams that you came in on, so I know your input, and I know that you are like-minded when it comes to me. You ain't going for that foolishness. I already know it. I already know it. Lorena Bobbitt, you glued his, she cut his. Cut it, tossed it out the window. Had to take the cops to go find it so they can do the reconstructive surgery with it. Yeah, that was crazy. I remember that. That was one of those crazy stories that you never will forget.
And she right where she knew exactly where she threw it at.
She knew exactly where to take them to get it. And I was so amazed that they were able to still use it and, do the surgery to reconstruct it. And I always wondered, do it still work?
No way they pieced that thing back together in this work, right? No way.
That
Surgery in the world.
that thing got a mind of its own. It do whatever it want, whenever it want. Hey, Lacey, welcome in Building Ace Legacy. You think you found me in Proud Mixed Child live stream? Okay. Oh, that's my buddy. I love PMC. I love going over to his live stream. He keeps it real. I love it. Let me see what they're saying. I saw Sierra. KR. I definitely stay legally married because, yeah, that's due to you. Exactly. I've invested my whole life. I'll let both of them go. Yup. No explanations. That's what I said earlier. What needs to be explained? What could you say to me that's going to convince me to have you stay? What can you say? There is no excuse. There's no begging and pleading. There's nothing that you're going to say that can make me even consider having you stick around. Absolutely not. Jen from Team Happy, welcome in. Mega love shout out. Again, it becomes mental. And it's very disturbing. And, it lands. I see a lot of people in the psych hospitals and stuff because of stuff just like this. No. He didn't consider. He didn't consider any of your memories, anything that y'all had going on. Like, none of that was taken in consideration. He just was being a dog in that moment. And so he didn't even care about the dynamics of the family or how this thing would hurt you or affect you in the long run, short term, whatever. He just didn't care enough about you. It's a book this woman called He's Just Not That Into You. So this man didn't care about you. And it happens. It's so sad, but it happens all the time. Men would jeopardize their whole family for something that's not even going to work. Because everything that they do is premeditated, but for all the wrong reasons. It's for sexual benefit. That's it. They would have a woman that's worth 80%. And because they're missing that 20%, they would cash that 80% in just to take 20. But it's way too late when they realize that I only got this. And I had this. And they want it back. But the damage is done. And that was evident in Why Did I Get Married? Tyler Perry did a great display of that in that movie. Judith?
Yes, he did. He did an excellent job. And listen, don't nobody like a cheater. And cheating is not a payback. Cheating is not a payback to cheating. You walk away. Have some dignity. It might take you a couple times to walk away and stay away, but walk away. You deserve better.
If you go back to that movie, you will see how desperate he was to get Jill Scott's character back in part 2. Okay, KR, thank you so much for coming in, Queen. Appreciate always having your genuine support. Thank you so much. I love that movie too, Tamika. Listen, that's in my collection down there. It's certain DVDs or whatever that I will not part with, because on those days where you're paying for Netflix and you just can't find absolutely anything to watch, I can always go back into those goodies and grab me something and make me a whole lineup for the night and just go. And sometimes I want to watch that stuff and it's not available for me to stream, so I reach back and I go watch those things. Some of those movies just should be in everybody's collections. That's one of them. But yeah, I remember back when that whole thing happened with Lorena Bobbitt. That blew my mind. I was relatively young then, because that was in the 90s. Around that same time, I do remember there was another goofy story going on, and I believe it happened in Philadelphia, where it was a serial rapist going around. And he just kept going every night, climbing in a few women's windows and raping them. And they could not catch this guy. And I think he was like 2 weeks into it. And I always tell you, criminals do the craziest things. We talked about it recently in one of my live streams, how people get away with stuff Saturday night. And they keep going back and keep going back and keep going back and doing it until they eventually get caught, because it's that whole adrenaline rush. It's that whole ego stroke. I got away with it. I can do it again. So that's what was going on with this serial rapist. So again, he was going around to a number of women's homes and climbing in their windows in the middle of the night and raping them and going on about his business till he got to this one woman. Obviously, she was so good, or he was so tired. One, because he fell asleep right after. And all she had to do was pick up the phone and call the cops, and they arrested him right out of her bed. I thought that was the craziest situation. But at the same time, I was like, look at God. They couldn't catch him. Look how he got caught. Crazy. He didn't know he was exhausted before he went there. Again,
he knew he was exhausted. It didn't matter. Doing this crime was more important.
he was just going to go get that one last victim. Well, he probably thought he had it in him to get a couple more. But he's only successful up into the victim before her. Yeah, he got it, but he also got caught, which he didn't imagine. Go over there and sit down. I'm talking. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, back to this topic. There's no way I am accepting my husband back or my best friend after this type of betrayal. It's not going to happen. Lacey, you're a younger woman in the chat. How do you feel about that? Where do you stand with that? Losing your spouse to your best friend. I know where Tamika Davis stands. Clearly, I know where Angela stands. Tampa's wife. Nobody have to ask where she stands. Yeah.
I'm on. No. So, how do I feel about it? I feel like I would just have to find somebody else.
So you're not getting aggressive and fighting, and because in the beginning they were saying, I guess I'll be going to 1 or 2 funerals. You're not doing all that?
That's a hard question. I don't know if I would be going to a funeral, but I probably would fight. But I probably wouldn't go to no funeral. I would be very upset and hurt, but I don't know. What goes around comes around. So whatever wrong they done did to me, it's gonna come back to them. So I could get with them, but can't nobody get with them worse than God. So that's how I look at stuff. Whatever I could do to you, God gonna do it best, and it's definitely gonna come back to you. So that's how I look at stuff.
I like that because the other women that was kind of like in your age range in the beginning when we first started was like, yeah, they going to 2 funerals. And I was like, it's not worth it. The energy is not worth it.
It's not worth it because I have a kid. So I'm gonna kill some people, and then who my kid gonna have? Because at this point, if I didn't kill your dad, now your mom going, my kid not going. Like, no, I don't look at stuff like that. But I definitely know that it would definitely come back around, and then the karma that's gonna get you is gonna be worse than anything I could have done.
And that's what I was saying. Like, it can, like Sierra even said, like, you can pick up felony charges and stuff like that, and is it worth it? No. I was coming at it from a more psych standpoint. Like, this is what sends people into psych wards. Everybody is not built for it tough and cannot handle that type of blow. You got to think about the impact of it all. First of all,
my best friend is a man. So if I lose you to my best friend, baby, you wasn't for me.
Okay, and we never looked at it like that. But when you do in the normal dynamics of a husband and wife, and then he cheats with her best friend, which is female, there's a lot of layers. You're losing your best friend, meaning your husband, a confidant, the person you have that pillow talk with. You're losing all that. That's who you go and call to comfort you for anything that may be going on with you. Something going on with your family, your mom, your sister, whatever. You talk to your husband. At the job, you talk to your husband. Socially, anything that happens, you talk to your husband. So you lose that, right? And then your secondary source, like the backup person that you go to outside of your husband, is normally your best friend. So now you lost that person too. You lost them together. That's a serious blow. So you're dealing with the dynamics of losing two important people in your life. And then the third part of it all is you lost them to each other. So now you got to wrap your head around the fact that not only did I lose him and her, I lost them to one another. That causes people to have mental breakdowns and meltdowns. And I was saying earlier, that's how that show Snap came about. Because in the moment, we can really sit here and judge it because we're talking about it. But in that given moment, you don't know what you're going to do. Some people black out and they see red. Coley Cleans, welcome, Queen. Thank you for coming in. And Anna Lee from Team Happy, mega love shout out. Thank you for being here. Appreciate having you. You just can't really, you can talk right now as your rational self. But in that moment, things don't look the same.
I said that before when we did something like you never know. But like you can't never say never. Like you never know what you're gonna do or how you're gonna react unless you're put in there. I think when we talking about sister wives, like everybody like, no, I wouldn't, but you never really know unless you put in that type of situation because it anybody could black out, anything like your whole year could have been going bad. Like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I always tell people you're just a couple seconds from making a very poor decision. And you don't know what that one bad decision can do to impact the rest of your life. Everybody that killed somebody, they didn't wake up that morning and know they was going to kill somebody. Something happened. Everybody that cheated, that's different. Some people were lusting over someone for a certain period of time. Or, you go to your workplace and you have people do like workplace harassment. Maybe they just met you yesterday, but it's something about you that gravitated them towards you and they just can't like get it out of their head, and so they make that pass. That is still premeditated. But something can happen right now where you can get a knock on your door. They out here beating up your son, and you can go out there and snap in that moment. So everything is not premeditated, but something like this with your husband and your best friend, obviously they were around you and they had Google eyes for one another. They probably said something. Trust me, they didn't just start cheating. There were some passes made and there were some things being said and there was some texts and there was some emails and there was some courting going on. You just weren't privy to it. You got the brunt end of it all, and it's very unfortunate. But it's not nothing that just happened. Trust and believe. Some things was going on. It just flew over your head or they kept it completely away from you. Until it blew up. However it happened. You found out. Somebody admitted. Somebody else found out and told you. However it went down. It didn't just start that day. That they're in this full-blown relationship. Because the conversations had to go like this at some point. Well, what about if she find out? Well, I don't care. And that stuff, that caution was on the female's part. Well, that's my best friend. And then he probably gave her some negative stuff. Well, she be kicking your back in. You just don't know how that came to be. But the one thing I can assure you of is it didn't all just go down that day. Judith?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are premeditated, but that's one of the things that men don't get. You know, they understand we're emotional creatures because we're going off, or they want to call us bipolar. But at the end of the day, you have wooed and schooled this woman before anything has happened. So mentally, you're already there. Y'all already done unclothed each other, everything. You know, and as a woman, you know and understand it. They think, oh, it's just conversation. No, it's not. It's not. They tether those lines and play with words and think they doing something. No, this not working, buddy.
And that's why I blame, a lot of times us women for not staying on top of our relationships. Not that you can foresee any, like 100% of everything coming, but a lot of times we do neglect our partner, which sends them out there looking elsewhere. But I don't care how much neglect I gave a man. For you to go and choose my best friend, inexcusable. There's a million women. We all know that women outnumber men. You could have chosen anyone. You handpicked my best friend. You really wanted to hurt me. And normally that's what men do. They hit way below the belt. I've told you women this before. You really get to see who your partner is when you're going through divorce. Because that's when the gloves come off, and that's when you see them do some stuff that you never would have imagined. Especially when there's a piece of change involved. This person that you had to do all the thinking for and do all the duties around the home, somehow they know what to do when it's time to get a divorce. They know how to remember all those facts that you thought they were, overlooking when you were together and you had to handle everything. Oh, baby, they could dig, and remember everything they need to remember when it's time to get that money or become beneficiary or whatever to your estate or whatever. Men are very dirty. Again, in all this, I put more blame on your partner, depending on if it's a man doing this to a woman or a woman doing it to a man, because that's the person you were in the relationship with. That is the person who owed you honesty. That is the person who really, really betrayed you. The other person, yes. But the dynamics of a friendship and a marriage is two different relationships. So all that till death do us part and hanging in there and taking him back after doing that, that's a bunch of bull. You do not have to stay with these narcissist men because they're reminding you that you are still my wife. What prize comes with that? Even if it's a man that's wealthy, what's the prize of staying with a man who is cheating on you, and more so with your best friend? What's the prize that comes with that? That's when you have to choose you. Somebody's in here weak, or somebody that's going to rewatch this is a weaker woman. And I just want them to know that you do not have to tolerate that. You do not have to endure that type of stuff. You may still endure it, but you need to dust yourself off and get up out of that relationship because you deserve better. This goes back to when I did my panel on international love, and I said to you guys, once I was put up on a pedestal and treated like a queen, I refuse to go back to sugar, honey, iced tea. I absolutely mean it. I stand firm in that. That's my truth. I know what I had to endure from these piss poor brothers here in the U.S. And again, I only say that because that's all I've dated. So now that I'm doing something different, that's what I like. That's what I love. I won't go back to that other stuff. I won't go back to being disrespected and being called out of my name. I won't do that. But again, when that's all you have, you tend to stick around and deal with that. Put up with it. For what? Know your self-worth. Even if it means you have to be alone, don't stay in that. You stay in that for what? just to say that you still have a husband, you're not happy. And all that chasing him around and doing the whole GPS, for what? That's not a normal relationship. That's not what being happy in a relationship is about. You're supposed to look forward to seeing your partner come home. You're supposed to be looking at the clock, anticipating the moment he's going to walk through the door. Probably not every day, but most of the time. You're supposed to be in a happy space. You're supposed to still look at him when he don't see you looking and be able to like giggle a little bit because there's something about him that you like. I still do that for Tony. Tony might be doing something around the house and have to take off his shirt to get into it. And boy, when I see those muscles, he's skinny, y'all, but he got some muscles. It's what I like. And that's what I'll still be looking at my husband with lust, but he won't even know it. And I still like giggle like a little girl. I still have that for him. I don't want to lose that. Sometime if I'm washing the dishes and he come and do something, make a little sexual pass, I still laugh and blush. It's still there. The love is still there. I want to see everybody get to that point. I do. Sometimes he just randomly send me texts and it still makes me giggle like when we first started dating. I love that. You don't want to lose those things when you're in a relationship. I shared this before. You got to constantly date your spouse. Don't get away from dating your spouse. You got to keep things spiced up. Even when you have kids, sometimes I have to send these kids to my mom or get my sitter. And we have to go, me and Tony. We have to go spend a night somewhere together outside of the house. We have to keep the romance going in this relationship. I encourage everybody in here in a relationship to do these things. If there's no place you can go because you don't have a sitter or somebody else, then when the kids are down, go into a different character for your partner when you get in that bedroom. Do something different in there to spice things up. Keep it quiet so the kids won't hear. But do something different. Let him know that you're still into him. And make sure that he's still into you. Don't allow a man, because he's your husband, to get a pass of cheating on you with your best friend or just anybody, and you just keep accepting this man back. Don't do that. If you have to be alone, be alone. You won't be the first and you won't be the last woman that's alone. Stop getting out of the habit of saying that I'm going to stay in this relationship with him for the sake of the kids. Don't do that. Men do that. That's one of those things men go around and tell women. I'm staying with her for the sake of my kids. Don't do that. Don't sell yourself short. Don't give him that excuse, because once you start giving him excuses, you're going to continue to stay in it and give him excuses and endure more and more pain. Because what's going to give you the courage to get up and get out of that thing once you start giving him excuses? He don't even have to come up with excuses no more because you're doing it for him. Don't do that. Judith, you want to add anything?
Yeah, that's why I said in the beginning that, it may take several times to walk away. 5, 10 times to walk away. To keep doing it. You get stronger and stronger every time. Take care of you first.
You have to remember, if there are children involved, they're seeing all this. No, they're not going to talk about it in their younger years. But when they get older and possibly young adults, you tend to become closer to your children. You'll see that in other people's relationships, that the parents and their young adult children are very, very close. And that's when they finally muster up the nerve to talk to their parent openly, specifically the mother, and let them know some things that they saw in their younger years. Because kids are like sponges and they absorb everything. You have to be mindful of the type of men that you keep around you, even if it's their father. Because you are setting an example, and you don't want your little girls to think that it's okay to endure this type of negative behavior from a man and just accept it and stay in it. You, mom, have to tell her it's okay to pack up and come back home, and we'll get through this together. Even if you don't have a place for her, you have to tell your daughter, as hard as it sounds, you need to go to a homeless shelter so that they can help you get back on your feet. I worked there. I told you guys that. I worked in a homeless shelter. And that's what I did. I helped these women get back on their feet, and I provided them with linkages in the communities. And they had a number of things that they had to do, but we were able to get them back in their own place. Rather they had children or, with single mothers. But we assisted them with that. Because you have to show them that there is, in fact, a light at the end of the tunnel. And that just because you're down on your luck right now, you won't stay there always. Deja's Life, welcome. Thank you for coming in. Have a seat. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Tonight's topic was, how would you deal with losing your spouse to your best friend? We had a number of women that would respond that they would be going to a funeral. And I'm just trying to reach my sisters and let them know you don't have to go that route. And I let them know that a lot of people end up in psych hospitals due to depression behind something like that and anxiety. And I showed them that that's what that show Snap, that's where it comes from. Because in the heat of a moment, in a situation like that, you normally snap. So you're not really in control of yourself because you lose all rationale. We don't want that. So I'm trying to arm my sisters now before they even deal with a situation like that. And not will they, they may not even think back on this conversation, but maybe people can start altering their way of thinking now so that when they are facing something like that, they'll have a better handle, a better grasp on it, and being more in control of themselves. Somebody needed to hear this message, and I'm happy that I could be here to deliver it by way of my live stream and with my panel guests, Sierra Davis and Judith, and Building Ace Legacy. Because no, we don't know everything, but we do know some things. Life give you these great things called lessons. And with that, everybody has their own lessons. So with all of us women coming to the table, we all have different dynamics of life that we could bring here and share. And we can offer a bit of advice. Although I've never experienced something as detrimental as this topic from tonight, I do know that if faced with that particular situation, that I would not take the violent route. I already know that because I'm so in control of myself. I always have been, but now I have these 4 little people that I have to be for. So everything that I think about, every decision that I make is always based on how it affects my babies. And if it's anything that's going to separate them from me or me from them, then I have to come up with a plan B, because that's not going to work. Their parents have already failed them. I cannot fail them again. I cannot put them in harm's way or see them hurt purposely. I cannot do that. If it happens, I have absolutely no control over the situation, because every decision I make is about these babies. I stand firm in that. And I made the parents aware. And I tell them all the time, you've already failed them. So I don't get to fail them. I don't. And a lot of people don't understand. I had a coworker tell me I was crazy to give up my life for these kids. And she came from Nigeria, and I was blown away with the fact that she would say something like that, knowing that they are family-oriented people. But that was just her truth. She's not willing to give up this new life that she found in America here for the sake of helping raising her grandchildren. She's not willing to do it. Because she got this whole new world that she get to play around in over here. She never had access to things over in Nigeria the way that she do here in the U.S. So, you know what? I don't fault her for her ignorance. But I did ask her, if your children were in a position where they were going to be taken away and placed somewhere in the system where you wouldn't know how to access them, you wouldn't compromise like having that new life that you found over here in the U.S. and taking on these children, you would let them go in the system and you could sleep at night, you could live with yourself? I didn't lay down and have them. Okay. Well, I guess I'm a different type of woman made out of a different type of cloth, because that's not going to happen with me and mine. You know, I want my blessings to come down. I want my blessings to rain down. I don't need the worldly blessings. I shared this recently with Sierra. I said, I know a lot of people probably think that I do get extra support from these kids, for these kids, but I'm here to tell you, the state of New Jersey, when I applied, told me, give them back to their parents. I am paternal grandma. I am supposed to do everything that I'm doing. I never went and asked for assistance again because I was offended that they told me something like that. What I walked away with was, you're right. They are mine. I am paternal grandma, and I'm going to raise them as my own. Giving them back is not an option. I just told y'all. I told the parents, y'all already failed them. I can't fail them again. I can't do that. But, you know, all in the name of benefits, they told me to give them back. So when you take on something as serious as a role that I've taken on for these kids, oh, you can't be playing. This ain't for play. This is real. You're stepping in and you're becoming all that they know. You're becoming, they call me mom. They don't understand. They don't know any difference because I feel like they're mom to them because I wrap them, I wrap everything I have in these babies. I made some decisions in the past. Well, Kha'yair is 11, so 11 years that I never considered making prior to them starting, being birthed. Never. Listen, you learn some things. And when that third eye open up and the dynamics of your family change, you have to do things different. If you're still moving the same way that you were in your younger years, when you take on something like this, then something is clearly wrong. Something is clearly wrong because you automatically need to make some adjustments. Go into the chat. Hey, Sharice. Welcome, Queen. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate having you. Okay, I see Sierra's going to get Deja into the groups.
Sarah.
You saying hi to Sierra? Yes, so grateful for your channel. Thank you so much, Precious. I tried. Listen, even if it's one person that's going to show up for my live stream, if I could reach them, I'll be here.
Yeah, we just put on the balloon because dear chance. Because you want Car's love.
That's what you tell in the chat?
Yeah, we want it.
From age 16 to 17, I had to help my mother raise my cousin kids. Stop. They were ages 4 months to 3 years old. To keep them out the system. Absolutely, you do. You do what you have to do. And these were your little cousins, okay? And I'm telling you, I'm a whole grandmom, and so was that woman. And she told me I was crazy. She told me I was crazy for giving up my life to raise my grandkids. I'm crazy. Now keep in mind, these my offsprings. You know, they're the offsprings to my offspring. So they're an extension of me. It's not an option not to step in and take it on. From March until now, when I picked up my oldest grandson, since his grandmother was in the hospital, it has not been easy. I spend 3 days out of the 5 weekdays frustrated with the state of New Jersey because of the way that they are changing things now with the whole transition of his situation, because his is very unique and it's different from the way I took the other boys. It's very frustrating. I spend a lot of days wanting to scream and pull my hair out. You guys can't even tell because I try. This is what I'm telling you. I stay in control of myself. You can tell if I share things with you, but outside of that, you wouldn't even know. A lot of times that I'm on this live stream, it's a facade. You know, this is my great escape. And I keep telling you guys, and I don't know if you understand when I'm telling you this, that this is true. This is very therapeutic for me when I come on here and I play Family Feud and I talk to y'all about these more serious topics and just go live periodically with you guys, just spontaneously, because it takes me out of that mindset and it gives me the opportunity to escape for a while. That's my therapy. You guys have been very therapeutic for me, and it's free of charge. I don't have to go nowhere and pay no professional. You guys really take me and put me in a different headspace. And so normally when I get off here, I can go function normally again. I can go get some things done that I just was pushing aside all day. I didn't feel like it. I was in a funk. But by the time I get off here, politicking and laughing and joking and just busting it up with y'all, I'm able to move on. Like earlier today didn't even happen until I revisit it again. I do have people that I can share these things with, thank God. I have Judith and Lacey. I have Sierra that I'm able to talk to on a more personal level because I'm able to pick up the phone and call them. But what would I do if I didn't have this support system? What would I do? You guys, again, you see me more often because I need this. I need this. It's not even, my YouTube journey now is not even what it started off as. It was fun when I first started. Along the way, I lost that. It wasn't so much fun anymore. It seems like it was fun until I hit 1K subscribers and became monetized. And then I realized, oh my God, the real hard work begins now. And there was times that I slowed down and backed away from it. But here lately, since March, if you paid attention, I had to stop recording just like a week or like maybe 3 weeks to get my grandson through that whole grieving period, which is not over, trust me. But the point of the funeral arrangements and stuff like that, until we can get to the healing side of things. And then I picked up and started going live more often and putting out content more often because it kept me engaged with the comments and just coming on chit-chatting with you guys. I picked up and started doing the virtual stuff more often, like the topics and go over there and the trivia and stuff because of the engagement. That helps me out a lot. Instead of sitting around and sulking and thinking and letting your mind, and then, you know, before you know it, when somebody frustrates you, you're sitting around planning your next attack on them. I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to just sit around and get my guns cocked for this woman for her next visit. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be confrontational. I just want a resolution. That's it. I want everything to be resolved. And how can I advocate for him if I'm behaving in such a negative manner? So I had to get a grasp on it. And so I had to alter my mindset and reapproach the whole situation different. And guess what happened, guys? I'm now getting positive results. I was matching her energy, which was negative. That didn't work out for me. So I had to do things differently. So here we are. And now things are moving on along. And hopefully we'll stay on this straight, positive path. Prayerfully so. But I can't dictate the movement of the next individual. But all that to say that you guys, you listen, is very therapeutic for me when I come on and I chit chat with you guys. I hope that I was able to reach somebody today who may be in a point in their life where their judgment is clouded. They're in a relationship that is not healthy. They just don't know how to get out of it. They possibly need to hear it. Maybe you need to hear how someone else was being strong. Maybe you need to hear the responses in my chat tonight coming from a plethora of different women. It's okay. You can't control the fact that someone cheats on you. What you can control is you removing yourself from the equation and from further harm and disgrace. Don't stay in that. Arlene, thank you so much for coming in from Team Happy. Mega love shout out. Richard, welcome. Thank you so much. Mega love shout out. Maya dear, welcome queen. Mega love shout out. Thank you so much for being here. Wow, that is crazy, but you are doing amazing with the boys. I love it and appreciate all you do. Thank you so much, Precious. And I know you must be talking about when they said to me, give them back. Absolutely. Absolutely. There were a time back, like I can recall when I was younger, so like in the 70s. Back then, they used to still have representatives from Board of Social Service would come out to your home and do your intake and interview and redetermination and stuff like that in order to give you the funds. I remember seeing women that I grew up under that never worked anywhere. They would sit out on their front steps of their porch. From the time I woke up in the morning, I would see them out there drinking coffee till the time I was called in because the street light came on at night and it was time for me to go hit the showers and go to bed. They did absolutely nothing. Except in the middle of the day, they would pull out their card table and play cards and all that stuff. And sometimes make some crabs. And get the newspaper out and just sit around and eat crabs and stuff like, just do whatever they wanted. My cousin had a bar on the corner, so they would get dressed later in the evening and get their heels and their stuff on and go walk across the street to the bar and hang out and drink. But they didn't do anything as far as working. The husbands did that. But yet they would give them food stamps for that entire family. And this one woman I know had 10 kids. And they didn't stop it as you get up to 4 kids. You got food stamps for 10 kids back then. But now people has made it so hard. So when someone like me, who steps in and take these kids, asks you to at least help me feed them, I don't need nothing else from you. I don't want no cash assistance. I just want to be able to feed them, and you tell me to give them back. It's so hurtful. It's so hurtful. No, I will not give them back. Absolutely not. It's not an option. I just came from that place, especially after having my daughter. But I'm so much better now. It happens. It happens. A lot of mothers go through a phase of like depression and stuff like that. Place of being unhappy. Don't know how to calculate your next step or your next move. Hang in there. Get yourself a support system. Get some people to pour positivity into you. You're worthy of that, and so are your children. You have a queen and some kings that you're raising. Try not to ever let them see you cry or depressed. If you can help it, excuse yourself and go into the bathroom, because that's what I used to do. And that's where you go and you cry and you do whatever you need to do, or you wait till you put those babies down at night and it's just you, and then you talk to God. Talk to God. And talk to God. Listen, a lot of people say, I don't know how to talk to him. Just talk to him. Just talk. He understands. Tell him everything you're feeling. He knows it anyway. Be in 100% truth when you hold that conversation with God. Don't you remember when Yolanda Adams had a song, Alone in the Room is Just Me and You? She had that conversation with God. That song topped the charts. Nobody heard nobody talk to God like that in the form of a song. That realistically is how you do it. Just go in there and talk. Before you run your mouth to your girlfriends or your partner who may end up doing what happened in this scenario we got going on tonight, go and talk to God. That's who's going to pull you through. That's who knows when you had enough and when your cup has runneth over. Sometimes we don't know. And we don't know how to take ourselves out of a situation. But if you talk to God, he will show up and get you out of there before you even know it. So don't let these men, and fellas, don't let these women talk you into staying in a situation that is completely unhealthy for you, mentally and emotionally. Get out. Judith, if you want to add anything before we close out.
I mean, at the end of the day, everything you say I have agreed with. Um, Especially the part where, you know, we need accountability partners also. If I'm feeling low to the ground, I know who to call to pick me up, to help get me to a better place. And everybody needs that. Um, and again, it's no better choice than yourself, especially when you have children. You show them the strength that you have. Do what you need to do. It's not going to feel good. It's no need to lying about that. It won't feel good. And it may take you 10 times to walk away and stay away. But once you learn that you can be treated better, that's all it takes. Is that little bit of, I deserve better than this. I need better than this. I want to show my children better than this. That's it. Reach out to whoever you need. Reach out to me if you need to reach out to me. Whoever it is. I've taught many a mug off a ledge. I can do that. Just have somebody you can go to. A safe place. A safe place.
So I see the Woods Way coming in. Thank you so much. Welcome. I appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate you going back to watch the replay. For Precious, I see where you said, my issue is I really don't have any support for real, not genuine support. All I have is God. While I do understand exactly what you're saying, you already took the words out of my mouth when you said all I have is God. There's no such thing. You have God. So once you put that at the end of that statement, everything you said before that point is voided. You have the best support system if you have God. You just need to lean on him and talk to him. He will pull you through. That's all you need. If you need some extra support, you know how to contact me through Facebook. We're going to make you cry. Obviously, you're going through something. I'm here. I'm here. Reach out to me, sweetheart. I told you when I first met you that I looked at you like a little niece. Nothing has changed. Nothing. You see, even when you gave up your journey, I stayed connected. Because I really, really meant that. I felt this connection when I met you. I tend to tell people a lot that sometimes the people that I meet on social media is more consistent in my life than people that I know from my day-to-day in my personal life. And you equally serve a purpose in my life. Yes, anything that you need as far as support, I'm here. I have a young lady, and I will not disclose her name. I met her on Instagram. And then we became friends through a collab through YouTube. I stayed connected with this young lady. I felt like I needed to, but at the time I didn't understand why. But I kept up with her. She had a baby. I reached out to her. I just felt like it was something going on with her, but I couldn't put my finger on it. It took like a year or so, but later it was revealed why I was so connected to this woman. I was able to help her financially, just knowing her through social media, out of a situation that she couldn't help herself out of. I was able to help her emotionally, just the way I'm speaking with you tonight. It's coming from a pure place. Again, I never understood why I was so connected to her. But obviously there was a need. And I kept reaching out to her whenever I noticed she went away.
The young minister has put it to the forefront. Is never I got a hunch. I can't figure out why this happened. This is the way God created it and wanted it to be. Things are ordained before we are born to happen in specific ways. There is something that God sees from Wanda to the life of a positive mother that keep y'all grounded and together. But it's okay to cry too. Cry and reach out. Whoever it is, like I said, whoever you need to reach out to, reach out. You are not by yourself. This is a large community, and this kind of stuff is not going on throughout the community at all. At all. Reach out to whomever you need to reach out to be lifted back up, because that's sometimes we just listen. My bishop called it a vitamin B12 shot. We all need that sometimes to be uplifted, encouraged to keep on going and keep on moving. We all need it.
I absolutely am truly honored that I stumbled across Precious. I remember being introduced to that group by way of Kiki. What's funny about that is obviously there were no open slots in that group for a while, so when there was, she reached back out to me. So it obviously was meant for me to meet Precious. I sat on ice waiting to get in there for a while. And the moment I got put in that group and I was unclear on some of the rules, being as though I noticed she was one of admin, I reached out to her because I felt that connection. And this young lady walked me through it privately in my DM to make sure I felt comfortable in what I was doing. And that started that connection. And it escalated from there. We were just following one another's journey and doing everything we had to do. But she started reaching out to me in addition to what we had to do in the group so that we can do more amongst one another on the side on the weekends. And I accepted that as well. And so our friendship started to flourish. And then later in her content, she shared that she was an expectant mother. And I can't tell y'all how over the moon I was the day I saw that. I got chills, like, oh my gosh. And I gravitated towards her even more. All the while I was telling her she was like a little niece to me, and I kept calling her queen and sis and niece. And I would sometimes just periodically check into, like, I remember once I got sick and I couldn't really participate in the group. And I let her know I'm under the weather. I went to the hospital, and she was so understanding. And she was like, don't worry about it. And I remember when I was at 1K and I was trying to hustle to get the 4K watch hours. And she was over there like, don't worry, I'm going to run you, I'm going to run you, I'm going to run you. When I tell you this girl was running me, she was running me, and she wasn't going to stop until I got monetized. No matter if I got sick and could run myself or do nothing else, she constantly ran me, and I kept seeing like my numbers was really moving. I know that I owe a lot of that to you, Precious. I got monetized really quickly after hitting 1K. And I know I owe a lot of that to her. And what's funny is, shortly after I got monetized, she stopped doing YouTube. It was meant. It was so meant. There are some really, really good people in this world. You're not going to always meet them at work or at the supermarket or just in your local community. They came up with this wonderful thing called the World Wide Web. And now they have all these different apps that you can go on and foster relationships with people. And I am so grateful that I came across Precious. Because again, she's my niece. She's my niece. She's not going anywhere. I keep still trying to encourage her to start her journey back up. Maybe she will, and I know it's overwhelming when you have a newborn, but I'm not going anywhere. Precious, I mean that. If you need to talk to somebody, I am somebody. You can talk to me. If you just want to scream or yell or just have somebody listen to you, I'm here. I'm here. I know it must be a big change to your family for you to have that little baby after you had all the independent little kings. And I know you might have some days that are very trying and unbearable and you just can't see your way through. I'm here. I'm here. Oh, Maya girls, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate having you, Queen. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anybody else. Ladies, we're going to go ahead and close out for tonight because I do have to get my little ones down. This was a little cherry on the top for Veda. I didn't even title it Veda. It was just me hopping on just to talk to my community. I tried to talk myself out of going live, like for 2 hours. Judith was like, go on live and let me know when you're going. The moment I said it to Sierra, she said, let me know what time. They were at the ready. So it was a reason why they both were pushing me from two different angles to go live. And hopefully I reach somebody tonight. Again, this is very therapeutic for me. So you guys have definitely done me a big favor tonight as well.
Even if somebody, several hundreds of people watching the replay need to hear it. A lot of people. And as she said, on Instagram, I'm FLYMA42. Anytime, I'm here. And that could turn into a personal phone number at any given time. I'm always here.
So I'm just going to read the last couple comments over here. Go back up here. Up, a little higher. Oh, Maya girls, we have good people in this world. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, you're not going to always meet them at work or in your local community. You can very well meet some good people here online. We are a family, especially in over here on my live streams. We're sisters. And when those fellas come in, I let them know I'm talking to my sisters right now. You might not want to be in here. I'm very honest with them. We joke and we play, and I love the fellas too. However, sometimes it's got to be girl talk. I need to reach my girls. I need to reach my ladies. For anybody who was not in any of my live streams, because I went on twice on Saturday, I do have a Facebook group called Grown Conversation. If you want in on that, you are welcome. Just send me a friend request over on Facebook at MrsAmaechi, and I will include you in that group. We have topics such as what we talked about tonight. Oh, and we get down and dirty with it, ladies. But sometimes you need that. Even that will lift your spirits when you hear different people's feedbacks on and get different viewpoints on how they would handle different scenarios. It's a place for us women that we can go to. And even if nobody's in there, you can go and read through and give your input on some old questions and start the conversation all over again. I present a lot of different scenarios in there. I'm sure somebody can benefit from one or two. There have to be a reason why you have that push. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess you're talking about from Precious and myself, and the fact that both Sierra and Judith pushed me to do this live stream tonight. Trust me, I try to talk myself out of it. Because, there wasn't even a need to go live as far as I was concerned. Because I already did a group collab today. And so my fulfillment for Veda was done. But obviously my work was not complete. Because here I am. And again, I hope I reach someone. Well, there was a reason for this live. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I hope I reach someone. If I didn't, it's okay. There'll be rewatches, like Judith said. And it was very therapeutic for me. So I'm winning. I'm winning. But here's my confirmation. You reached me, and I'm glad I was able to make it. I'm absolutely 100% glad that you were able to make it. Because I know sometimes you get busy with the kiddos. And if this message was in fact for you, that's why you were here. Like she said, it was ordained. You were meant to be here. We were supposed to meet at this very time today. And nothing was going to keep you from this appointment. Thank you so much, Omaya girls. I love listening to you ladies. I appreciate that. That makes us feel good because, it's not easy to sit up here and discuss these tough topics that a lot of people wouldn't even take on your channel. Because they worry about the feedback that they're going to get from their chat or anyone passing through. But when you stand in your truth, no one can take that from you. So when I sit up here, I'm normally speaking about my own experience or something that I've witnessed. I'm not going to sit up here and tell falsehoods because that's too hard to keep up with. I can tell you stories over and over and over because that's what happened. That's my truth. I'm not ashamed. A lot of people say to me, I don't know how you do that. And believe it or not, I'm shy. I know nobody hardly believes that. I share that with my group members over on WoW. Some nights when I'm up here, a sense of shyness take over. But then there's sometimes I'm up here and I'll go back and watch my replay and I can't believe that I've discussed that much in depth like that. And I'm like, well, when? Like, I don't even remember. It's like something takes over. And if there's a message that needs to be conveyed, then that's obviously what I'm doing. And I'm in the moment because I don't even really always remember everything that's going on during these live streams. So especially when we're talking about something near and dear to my heart like this tonight, then I just go ahead and allow God to use me. She said she gonna follow you, Judith, as well. Please do. I know she comes up here and we tell jokes and we have fun, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I go to her and I share some secrets with her as well because number one, they never go anywhere. And I always come out looking at things differently from when I started that conversation with her. She's not always gonna see things 100% the way that I do, and that's exactly what I want. I need someone to give me another outlook, and so I know where to go when I need that type of response. I know I go to Judith. I have girlfriends that I know that if I go to, they'll make me feel all better, and guess what? That does nothing for me. It does for the moment, but then I'll hang up with them and call Judith anyway. And then I ask myself, why did you go through all that when you could have just skipped the middleman? But it's that whole stroke thing of the ego, like I tell you, that happens with the men. Sometimes we just want to be pacified a little and coddled, and that's okay. And once I get there and I'm good with that, then I have to go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. So I have to reach out to Judith and get the raw. And even though it comes across harsh, I always walk away with a good laugh. Everything is not going to feel good in the moment, especially when you're the one going through it. But I promise you, you'll get to a point where you can look back and laugh. That's the best part about it. Thank you, Sierra. Exactly, Wanda. Standing in your truth. Your testimony can help someone else. I hope so, Wanda. I try to let people know, like, just because you see an older, more seasoned woman before you, don't forget that I had a past. I went through some things. I didn't handle things perfectly either. Even when I have like my younger female cousins or nieces or whatever going through stuff, and they're like intimidated or embarrassed to tell me things, I have to tell them what I went through. So it makes them feel better and it makes them feel comfortable in opening up to me. I don't want anybody to feel a fool about something that someone else has put on them. You're not accountable for other people's action. The only thing you're accountable for is how you handle it moving forward. Take yourself out of it. Take yourself out of it. Good night, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I will be on tomorrow with Neil. I have a story to tell. We're going to be discussing the gig economy. So if you have any questions about like Uber Eats or Amazon or any of the other delivery services, bring them tomorrow night. We'll be on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love and respect to you all. Good night.
Good night, everybody.